Hey everybody, Naruto100 here, aka Justin. Sorry I'm a little late. I know some of you are impatient. I'm not going to say anyone's name, Val. Anyway, let's get on to Bleach, chapter 528, or 29, Everything But the Rain, part 2. Now we start with this episode back in Soul Society with the creator of the Zanpakutos from the Zero Squad. I can't remember his name. And he asks Renji why didn't he try to stop him from sending Ichigo back. And now when you think about it, it is kind of weird, isn't it? That he didn't try to say anything or stop him from sending Ichigo back. Well, apparently that's because even Renji knew Ichigo wasn't ready for this training and to go forward in the Soul Palace. So then he started talking about to find Ichigo's soul again. Then we go back to the real world with Ishin and Ichigo, and he's starting to tell him more about the past. Now, I'm getting what we saw last chapter with Misaki healing him. I don't think that's happened yet. I think we've actually gone back even before that happened. So, we go back, and what everyone thought was right. The speculation about the 10th division being, Ishin being the 10th captain, and it appears he is. But his name was not Kurosaki. It was Shiba. Ishin Shiba, which means he is related to Kai and Shiba, and that makes a whole lot of sense. That's why Ichigo looks just like him. They are related. And I was really surprised but very happy to see that. Now what I love is Rangiku was also the 10th Division Lieutenant then too, but instead of her party drunken self, she was more, how do you say it, serious, like a normal Soul Reaper officer and lieutenant. And Ishin was the free-spirited person he's always been. It's funny to see him act perverted about her breast, and we kind of thought Ishin was like that, but since he was married by the time Bleach started, we never really got to see how he was before he met Misaki. Now the part I loved the most about this chapter was Toshiro was the third seat. I love that. Just because I know the movies have nothing to do with the actual mangas, but I love the second one being about Toshiro and Ichigo, and to actually know that in the manga, the real story, Toshiro was the third seat to Ishin was just awesome. I loved it. Now the ending was no surprise, the villain, Aizen, so we're probably going to get to see how they said the 10th captain ended up dead, but I really don't think he is going to die, because I'm sure after you become a Soul Reaper, once you die then, I don't think anything happens. So, probably, I would figure Aizen somehow fakes his death, and then he moves to the real world. Because what I thought was weird was, Misaki had the name Kurosaki, and Ishin has the name Shiba, which means he took her name in as his own when they went to the world of the living. And I find that very surprising. And also about the speculation about Ganju's sister saying, don't disappoint Uncle. I think it was Uncle. And everyone was saying they were talking about Ishin. Well, apparently they are. So that's just cool again. And I wanted to point out about Kaien being related to Ichigo. That would make a lot of sense to how Rukia kind of had a feeling that he looked and kind of acted and really, he seemed a lot similar to Kaien to her, and that explains why her feelings towards him as a friend grew and why their relationship is really becoming, very big in the story, and that explains a lot. Now we know that he is related to Kaien. And we also, well, we figured out last chapter, but Ishin actually got to tell and say in this one he is a Quincy. So Ichigo is a human, a Quincy, was once a Hollow, he might still be, I'm not sure, and a Soul Reaper. That's a lot. Now, what I'm wondering the most is how Ishin and Aizen are gonna fight, if they do, in the upcoming chapters for this flashback arc. Because, and think about it, when Aizen fought Ishin in the war, Ishin fought him to the point to where he was tired and he had to use Hokyoku's power. Because then I thought, Aizen didn't fight all the captains. He used his Zanpakuto's ability, and that was really Momo fighting them. And Wonder Wise fought Captain Yamamoto, not Aizen. So really Aizen fought Ishin and he was able to keep up with him. So I wonder, how will their fight be now in the past? Because apparently Ishin was stronger as a Shinigami in this war arc with Aizen, and I'm very curious to see back then who was stronger. Because right now, I don't think Aizen could beat Ishin because he seems very powerful. And I thought it was funny that Rangiku thought she should be the next captain, and I just thought that was funny because, like I said, she was so calm and control, tried to be, and Ishin wasn't. But he wanted Toshiro to be because he could tell he was a child prodigy. And that's exactly who became the next captain. And I think, just like what everyone else thinks, it's because it's what Ishin wanted. So I think they waited till Toshiro was at the appropriate age, and then he became the captain of the 10th Division. And Rangiku stayed his lieutenant, but then she became more like Ishin. That's what I want to talk about. She might have been all party and stuff maybe when she wasn't doing her duties as a lieutenant, but while she was a lieutenant back then, she was very serious, it seems. And I wonder if she's all free-spirited now because she kind of reminds herself of Ishin, like his memory might remind her of acting like that, so she's, free-spirited because he was, and that might remind her of that a lot. But I don't know, I'm just thinking, you can tell me your thoughts on that. Not really much else to say about this chapter, but it was a 6 out of 5 again. Dang, Zangetsu's heavy. This is a heavy sword. I'm Naruto Chadmaker 100 here, and I had to say this chapter was awesome. I love seeing Toshiro as the 3rd seed. I love seeing serious, calm Rangiku. I love seeing, as always, the hyper, free-spirited Ishin. And I can't wait to see where this flashback arc goes, because I feel like this might be a very long one. And I actually hope it is for once. Usually I don't like flashbacks, but this one I actually do. And I can't wait until Mizaki comes back into the fold. Well, this is Naruto Chadmaker 100. Justin signing out. Tell me your thoughts. Rate, comment, like, and just tell me your thoughts on this chapter, and tell me if you agree with anything that I thought, like Rangiku acting like Ishin, because acting like that might remind her of him when she acts like that, and Ichigo and Ruka's relationship getting stronger because he does remind her of Kaien. Well, this is Naruto Chatmaker here, signing off, and I'll see you next week.